like a hurricane here in Duckburg. The race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve the mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Ooh. Every day they're out there making DuckTales. Ooh. Tales of daring, do bad and good luck tales. Danger, watch behind you. There's a stranger out to find you. What to do? Just grab onto some DuckTales. Woo! Every day they're out there making DuckTales. Woo! Tales of daring, do bad and good luck tales. Woo! Not ponytails or cottontails, no DuckTales. Woo! We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they can send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck, no. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. The man makes you know. He can't fucking breathe. The man makes you know. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck, no. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, the ween approaches. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, a show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I have got a glorious panel here with me to break down all the shit talking and shenanigans, the fight announcements and fuckery that has trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all that fun and fuckery, though, first and foremost, gentlemen, how you doing over there?
Happy fucking Thursday. one day closer to Friday, one day closer to Halloween. I mean, T minus 8 days right now. Well,
Right.
7 days in a wake up.
Right.
And then we are T minus 1 day and a wake up to an early ass card for motherfucking Tom.
Tommy Espinal. Tommy Espinal. Damn right. We've got ourselves a hell of a pay-per-view this weekend. So that being said, before we get into all the most fun and fuckery here, we are going to kick things off the way that we like to with a little bit of news and recent events. Fight announcements, fight cancellations, official rumor confirmations and denials, things of that nature relevant in the combat sports world that have happened since we saw you, beautiful people, last. One of the lightest news weeks we have had in a long while, at least in recent times. Very short news this week. The first one that I've got real quick, I've said it for a long time. He confirmed it for me this week. Dean Thomas has officially gone on record in saying that he has completely denounced the Mackenzie Dern versus Verna Yonderova fight for the belt taking place this weekend as the most significant title fight in UFC history, given what Wei Li literally is in the process of doing. Trying to get that particular belt refilled immediately doesn't seem to make sense, especially considering win or lose, there's a very good chance she's immediately going to be coming back down to get that belt either as well or as a consolation for not shooting for the stars and reaching what she had aimed for with the Valentina fight. Either way, all of that gets settled before the end of this fucking year. Why are we filling this fucking title role, especially with two of the least deserving contestants that we have seen in a long time in a rematch that no one needs or wants to fucking see? I love Dean Thomas. I love Dean Thomas. I'm so fucking glad he went on record as saying this, because I've been saying it since they announced the goddamn fight, and I'm glad that I'm not the only fucking one. Kind of a weird one here. This one is a little bit more complex than most of the media outlets have actually been reporting. And I've seen a lot of very clickbaity headlines surrounding this because it all just came about tonight, or this afternoon rather. In May of 2024, while it was still Bellator, Patchy Mix fought Magomed Magomedov in France. Patchy Mix won, but then afterwards, the French Athletic Commission said that Patchy Mix had failed a post-fight athletic test and overturned the loss, or overturned the win rather, to a loss for smoking the ganja. That's right, for smoking the ganja. Mike Mazzulli, couldn't think of his name for a minute there. Sorry, had a brain fart. Mike Mazzulli said that because they were working with the France Athletic Commission to handle this one, that no, he actually didn't. He passed all of his post-fight exams. What they were referring to was an independent exam that the French Athletic Commission had Patchy Mix see a French doctor after he had done all of his other post-fight exams. And that independent doctor said that he had failed the test for marijuana. They then had the B sample from that test sent to USADA, who is now handling all of PFL and was handling Bellator shit, who said, no, this sample is clean. You need to recalibrate your machines, and then had it sent off again to a secondary lab to confirm that no, that was in fact a clean sample, that they had called it wrong to begin with. Basically, what it all boils down to is that Mike Mazzulli got reports from the French Athletic Commission that the French Athletic Commission has denied the appeal of overturning that quote-unquote loss on the record officially for Patchy Mix to a win, which he technically won and passed the post-fight exams. The French official commission denied it. So as far as France is concerned, Patchy Mix lost that fight by DQ due to a post-fight supplement, a post-fight exam. Mike Mazzulli has said that the American athletic commissions are not in agreement with that, since they have all seen the results that say that the test was negative. He did not, in fact, fail a test. So as far as the American Athletic Commission is concerned, that fight stands as a win on Patchy Mix's record, and they will not acknowledge the French Commission's ruling on this. Lots of fuckery. It is not the first time there has been foul play suspected when MMA has gone to France with a major organization, to say the least. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but there is plenty of stories out there. If that's something you're interested in, put your fucking headlamp on and get your boots tight, because that rabbit hole goes real fucking deep.
Leave it to the fucking French.
Yeah. They put it this way: New York legalized and sanctioned and has embraced MMA before France did. And New York was the original anti-UFC, home of the human cockfighting bullshit fucking center. And now they fully embrace, and MSG is one of the biggest cards every fucking year for the UFC. It will be this November as well, it looks like. So, yeah. No, France has got some issues they need to work out for sure. Last one I've got here this week. It's kind of a bit of a double-edged sword, and I'll tell you the reason why I say that. On one hand, we have seen for the better part of 2025 overall, the UFC has been slowly starting to pick at the other major organizations and starting to pick away some of their bigger names. Some of the other bigger organizations have been willingly giving up some of their bigger names. We now, thanks to this afternoon's news, have potential to get some serious history making in the women's MMA department going on in the UFC in 2026. I have no official leads in leading me to think this way. This is all just pure speculation on my part. But we found out this afternoon that for seemingly no reason and out of the blue, PFL has officially released Larissa Pacheco from her contract with them free and clear. For those of you who are not sure who Larissa Pacheco is, she is the only woman on this planet to have beaten both Kayla Harrison. The lone loss on Kayla Harrison's record is to Larissa Pacheco, and Cyborg. Not only is Kayla Harrison in the UFC and currently the champion of the women's division over there, but the only other woman to have knocked out Cyborg is also now coming back to the UFC to go after that same ladies belt that Larissa Pacheco could potentially get signed to get into the mix of. There is potentially a whirlwind of what the UFC tried to do with Ronda, Misha, and Holly, and then later Ronda, Holly, and Amanda. The trio that women's MMA in the UFC has revolved around very well, that the UFC has tried to force twice in a row now and failed at, could potentially be falling into place now. The only issue is that, yes, while Larissa Pacheco has a lot of very, very valid accreditations to her resume, she's also been doing this for a long time, much like Amanda, much like Kayla. So none of those ladies realistically have a long time left in this sport. This is very much one of those situations where if Dana White, Sean Shelby, and Mick Maynard are smart, they will snatch her up and give her someone at the top of the fucking stack as a debut fight to introduce her as quickly as they fucking can to the top of that mix, because there is a potential several series of fights here that could be done that could be just absolutely phenomenal, not only for women's MMA, but for the UFC in particular. But it's a very, very limited window of time that all of this can take place in, because again, how long the UFC generally tends to wait to bring in outside talent that they haven't worked with themselves. We've seen several other notable names who are now in the UFC or are in the process of getting to the UFC, and in almost every fucking case, they are well beyond the prime that we wanted to see them in the UFC. We are at the tail end of that fucking window with Larissa Pacheco right now. If we can get her soon and get her in this fucking mix before 2026 starts really burning away, there's a lot of potential for women's MMA and the UFC's women's MMA side of things to just blow the fuck up. I'm telling you right now. But if they squander this one, that window will absolutely fucking close. We cannot wait until 2027 to potentially sign Larissa Pacheco and try and put together the Kayla Harrison rematch, or get the Amanda Nunes fight going, or, you know, whatever other conglomeration of these series of fights that we could potentially make that could be spectacular. Is Dana willing to pull the trigger on this one? We'll see. The UFC could definitely use some more women stars, for goddamn sure. Larissa Pacheco has the blue chip on her goddamn shoulder. She's got the resume to fucking show for it. Will they pull the trigger? We'll find out fairly shortly, I'm willing to bet, because if they don't, I bet you ONE FC picks her the fuck up real quick. That being said, that is all I've got for news this week. Either one of you gentlemen have anything that I might have missed?
No, nothing. I mean, nothing else that I can think of at the point at this time.
Yeah, no, it's, for once it was a light news week for good reasons. Nothing bad happened, nothing good happened, just nothing happened in general this week. And that is a rare thing unto itself. So I'll fucking take this one as a W. That being said, this weekend is a pay-per-view card, so that means two automatic things. One, I have to wake up at 7:30 in the fucking morning so that Flintlock and I can do the pregame show for you wonderful people before the UFC kicks off at 9 a.m. But two, that we get to bring our old pal Flintlock in here to give us our favorite casuals take on the pay-per-views that we are about to embark on this weekend in our favorite little segment here, the Casual Corner. How you doing over there, Flintlock?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready for these fights.
All right.
Got some punches with your cereal this week.
Abso-fucking-lutely. So Golfty and I'll get all hardcore and break down and deep dive into this shit here in just a little bit. But before then, we have got a pair of title fights at the top of our second pay-per-view of the month here. We got a pair of title fights to open October. We are getting a pair of title fights to close October here. So we get another double belt question for our casual this month here. So for our co-main event, sir, we have got Verna Yonderova versus Mackenzie Dern 2, the rematch for the ladies 115 belt. How do you think that one plays out?
I want to say Yonderova's going to take it.
Absolutely understand that one for damn sure. That reporter from Media Day might not agree, but you know, he just worried about how many squats Mackenzie does a day. Fucking weirdo. So that'll bring us to the main event, literally one of the most anticipated fights in, I will say, easily a year and a half now. The first officially official, full, undisputed title defense of one Tom Aspinall in his full official heavyweight champion status against perennial fucking contender, the male Holly Holm, as far as a lot of us are concerned, Cyril Gane. Who do you think takes the strap home Saturday evening in the men's fight, sir?
I've been watching a little bit of. I've seen a lot of Tom's footage, and I've watched a little bit of Cyril Gane. But it's Tom. Tom's got to take it. There's no his speed alone. His speed alone puts people at a disadvantage.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah, no,
especially at his weight class.
Yeah,
nobody moves like that.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the ironic parts that I was literally talking to someone yesterday about with this fight coming up, is because when Cyril Gane first got signed to the UFC and Francis Ngannou was the champion, literally what everyone said about Cyril Gane is that he moves too fast for a heavyweight. Big guys shouldn't be able to move that fast, and that he's going to be Francis Ngannou's kryptonite. That turned out not to be the case. And then after that, everyone was like, well, yeah, he does move fast for a big guy, but maybe he's not that fast. And then Tom Aspinall showed up, and everybody was like, maybe Cyril Gahn doesn't move that fast for a heavyweight, because what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, Tom Aspinall has basically embodied what everyone thought Cyril Gahn was going to be when he first got brought to the UFC. The difference is Tom has basically backed it the fuck up, and Cyril Gahn did not. So for these two to be fighting for the belt this weekend, I think is kind of an ironic turn of fate, in my opinion.
It's gonna be sick, bro. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, I'm definitely fucking down for it. That being said, thank you very much for your opinion, sir. Always appreciated. We will get back to more of that again on Saturday as well, early as it may fucking be. But that being said, we say it all the time, life happens. So unfortunately, the kid is not here with us to talk about all the great cans and contenders on this card. So Golfy and I are basically going to run down this card real quick. Galti, if you want to just rip through and shit on everything worth shit worthy, I will come back and try and shine up some diamonds when you're done, my brother.
Oh, you're taking all, like, don't get me wrong. I like to shit
I'm
on
not saying
things.
all of them. I'm not saying all of them. You can absolutely point out the shine where you get it. I'm just saying I'll come up behind you and try and shine up a little more after you've
Okay.
President
I'm
Trumped
just
over the
saying there were
card.
some things I was fairly excited about, and not necessarily because of what they do for the division, just because of who was involved. But either way, let's just start off with right where we're at. That first women's strawweight bout on the fucking card. Jacqueline Amorim and Mizuki. Just throw that shit straight in the trash. This is something that should be happening as a opener for a UFC Fight Night card only on Facebook. And for those of you who don't get that reference, obviously you have not been watching MMA long enough to understand why I said that. Got Mitch Raposo back in there. I still think he's an absolute piece of garbage and does not deserve to be in the UFC. We've got Azat crossed away from him, getting a shot because he's from the region, and they like anybody who falls into the Muslim fucking thing because they're where they're at in Abu Dhabi. Makes sense. It fucking adds up. All right. One I do have to point out because I'm excited about it, not because of everything or because of the fight and how it plays out, but we got our boy Chris Barnett back. It's been a minute. All I'm saying is, I really hope he wins so we can see some ridiculous ass half front flip land on his ass. Because we know he ain't landing it on his feet, but he'll gladly land on his backside. Love the dude. Not to mention, he's probably one of the genuinely most happy fighters I've ever seen in my fucking life. There's very few other fighters that are like that, where they're just smiling and happy to fucking be there. And I don't count Smiling Sam Alvey because, well, the only thing he's good at apparently is karate combat. Which, to be fair, good on him for finding something he could actually do. Um, how long are we going to have to put up with Nathaniel Wood? I'll hit it. Nathaniel Wood, absolute dumpster fire. Another one that I think is a dumpster fire that I'm still not a fan of, Walter Walker. Look, he's bitching because somebody failed the drug test. I'm just saying, people are going to do drugs and you're going to lose opponents to that. That's going to happen. Welcome to the fucking UFC. Unfortunately, we're not in the heyday where everybody could be juiced to the fucking gills. Look, if you weren't watching then, you missed out on some of the craziest fucking ripped up, just angry motherfuckers on the planet. It was a good time. It's too bad that's dead. Ludwig Klein, another one of those guys where wondering how are you still on the roster? Wow, something I am excited about. The Iron fucking Turtle. I got nothing against Ikram Alexkirov. I mean, he's not great by any means, but Jung Young Park, I'm a much bigger fan of. I fucking love the Iron Turtle. Dude's fucking great. God, I really want to. I'm just gonna skip over that, even though I want to talk about it. I'm going to skip over it. I am excited to see Alexander Rakic back on because I think he may have turned a corner and may be turning back into that scary motherfucker that we all thought he was. But he's got a tough dog and was kind of across the way from him, so that'll be fucking exciting. Another person that I am fucking wholeheartedly against, I don't care where he's ranked. I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is. That's Jailton Almeida. Almeida is not as good as everybody thinks. He is not the world breaker. I'll give him contender at best. Next fight, I honestly don't give two flying fucks about at bantamweight. Umar Nurmagomedov and Mario Bautista. The only thing I can hope for in this case is that Bautista beats the brakes off of Umar. Because to be honest, look, anybody who's fighting under Khabib at this point, I just want to lose. Just to show them that his team isn't unbeatable. Don't get me wrong, the dude obviously great MMA fighter, finished with an undefeated record, but that doesn't mean everybody is Khabib. That's just not how that works. And it's not that I don't like everybody on his team. It's just that everybody seems to be, oh my God, they're the best team out there. Which, to be honest, I don't think they are. But here we are again. I'm not saying the fight is bad for the division. I think it's great for that division. Because Umar wins, he gets a shot at the title. Mario fucking wins, he gets a shot at the title. I really think this is a title eliminator fight, isn't for what it is. All right, I'm gonna say it. The co-main event can get thrown right in the goddamn trash. Because there's only two ways this fight plays out. One, if it stays on feet, Jandiroba wins. If it ends up on the ground, McKenzie wins. To be honest, neither of them were going to win the title unless it was vacated the way it is right now. Kudos to whoever wins. Yay, you got a belt, but you didn't get it the traditional way. Now, to be fair, I could say the same thing about the main event and Tom Aspinall earning the belt different way, but we also know there was a pond near Tom Aspinall where there was a lot of duck. And that duck quacked a lot, but man, did it duck more than it quacked. Now that duck wants to come back so he can get a super fight. To be honest, I'm in line with Tom. Fuck them. Let those two have their super fight. They both have legitimately good records. But he's never going to come back and fight Tom. But yeah, as a whole, this card is pretty solid. I'll give it that. There is definitely some fat that could have been trimmed. And like they do in most cases, they did a very good job of stacking the card with people from the area that they know is going to be backed. Whether it's Russia, fucking Serbia, wherever, somewhere in that Middle Eastern region or closely Europe related. But they've done a fantastic job of that. So it'll give the UAE fans a lot to fucking cheer for. And to be honest, I'm all for it. I love when they go to other countries and you get those giant fucking roars because somebody from their region is fighting. I mean, I'll say it, probably one of the best roars I've ever heard. And God, this hurts to say, was watching Molly McCann get a fucking spinning elbow knockout at home in England. That blew the fucking roof off of it. You don't hear that stuff in the States very often. Yeah, people get excited, but it's not that kind of excited. People don't have fucking chance for their home teams here in the States. I mean, you might get a, let's say for my own piece here, you might get a little go pack go. That's it. That is not a full-on soccer hooligan chant. They have soccer hooligan chants for fucking fighters. It's crazy. Other parts of the world are way more into sports than the US, and we're heavily into sports here. I'm just saying. It's nice when we go overseas. The only thing that is not nice is for my night loving friends because the prelims start at 9 a.m. Central Time, with a main card starting off when my nighttime friends would generally be waking up 1 p.m. Central. So, take that as a grain of salt for those of you who are going to be, let's see, over on the East Coast where you're 2 hours behind. That's starting at 7 a.m. Excuse me, West Coast, not East Coast. West Coast is what I meant to say. West Coast is still, it's a 7 a.m. start time for the West Coast for the prelims and a 11 a.m. start time for the main card on the West Coast. It's the only problem with them doing these fights overseas. Other than that, I don't have a problem with it. In fact, right now, if I'm not mistaken, they'll be starting weigh-ins here shortly. Or may actively be doing them. I don't remember the exact time change, but it's somewhere in this time frame. So keep your eyes peeled.
Thanks, sir. Much appreciated for that. Yeah, I believe weigh-ins start at the top of the hour here in about 10 minutes. So there's a possibility we may know if there's any major misses. I'll keep an eye out on the side screen over here. But no, I will just dispute one thing that TJ said there. I agree. For the most part, the biggest pops you will see in the UFC are when the UFC is abroad and somebody from that region walks out, especially if it's a main event. They lose their fucking minds. That is very much almost unmatched. But I will say there is one time recently that I remember very well that I would say disputes that at home theory, and that was April of 2023 when Max Holloway used his left knee to send Arnold Allen back out of the rankings, back to the unranked, and the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City lost its goddamn mind. That building shook for a solid 30 seconds when that happened.
All right, there's a reason why I didn't use that because I think we're a little bit jaded for being there.
I don't dispute that. I openly accept
I'm
my
not
fucking
saying
pettiness
that
and
there
bias.
wasn't a pop for that because that was fucking wild.
That building lost its fucking mind, and it was
But
awesome.
man, I mean, well, granted, any building loses their mind when fucking Max Holloway comes in finish. I mean, I think I want to know somebody who was sitting in the crowd when him and Gaethje finished off their BMF fight right at
when
the end, and he
Gaethje
points down
planted him.
and fucking puts him down with 1 second left on the clock.
I bet everyone in that building's phones went home fully charged that night.
Oh yeah, there's definitely enough electricity in that fucking air. We might have blown a couple batteries out.
Yeah, there might have been some local transformers on the power lines that got popped when that shit happened for sure.
Need fucking earplugs. Probably blew an eardrum out with the decibel fucking charge in there.
Right, no shit. No, that being said, for a pay-per-view overall, this is not the worst that the UFC has done. Not this year by any stretch of the imagination, but it is still a little bit apparent that the UFC is trying to hold a little bit back for the last two pay-per-views of the year, potentially the last two pay-per-views ever under the UFC banner now that they're moving to the Paramount network after the beginning of 2026. So there's still a little bit to be desired, but it's definitely not a bad lineup for sure. I am very curious not only what Huggy Bear looks like when he comes back, but also what his opponent looks like. For those who haven't been following, Hamdi Abdelwahab has been sitting on the sidelines for just shy of 2 years now, because when he finally made his fucking breakthrough into MMA, he pissed hot immediately. So it kind of put a whole big giant fucking asterisk next to his entire fucking history at this point. Uh Obviously he has proclaimed his innocence ever since, but this will be the first time we actually get to see him back in action since all of that happened, and will obviously have to have tested clean again to be getting back into action here. So it's going to be curious to see, is he still the same guy that we saw when he made his breakthrough? Is he still the same guy that we saw in the Olympics be an absolute fucking monster? Or is he going to be the next Johnny Hendricks, for lack of a better comparison here? Johnny Hendricks, at one point in his UFC career, like TJ mentioned, back in the Wild West days, Johnny Hendricks was terrifying because he was absolutely Dorito chip shaped anytime he got into a fight. And then out of camp, he had the epitome of a dad bod. And once they brought in USADA and some of the more strict actual testing regimens, Johnny Hendricks developed year-round dad bod, and his career took a hardcore fucking nosedive until he was done. This could very well be that Johnny Hendricks moment for Hamdi. This could prove that it really was just a flawed test in the first one, and he really is who he has said he is this whole time. But I'm curious. I would love to give him the benefit of the doubt, but watching combat sports as long as I have, seeing as many guys go through almost identical fucking situations, you're going to have to show me at this fucking point. And we know what Huggy Bear is capable of. And unfortunately, he's been off for a long series of time due to a loss in his family that was fucking tragic. So it's kind of curious to see which Chris Barnett we're going to get, because we saw when he was trying to deal with that in fight and it did not go well. And we have seen what happens when Chris Barnett comes in ready to do the goddamn thing and we get a crazy fucking performance and then that patented fucking backflip at the end of it that we fucking love. I would love to see one of those this weekend as well, but there's a lot of what ifs on either side of that matchup. So I'm very curious to see how that one plays out. That's probably the only one I'm really actually interested in on the early prelims itself, because that one does have a little bit of weight behind it, no matter which way it tips. But that's another one we won't really know until that one plays out itself. Fuck Nathaniel Wood, fuck Walter Walker. Ludovic Klein should not be in the UFC anymore at this point. But to be fair, Mateusz Rebecki is kind of the definition of a lightweight fucking journeyman. Like, he is that dude that he's not generally that exciting, but he's not always the easiest to beat either. He's tough as fucking $2 leather, but he's not really the world breaker. He doesn't really, or he hasn't at least shown that he's got that potential to really fucking grab the rankings by the reins and try and do something with it. He's always reliable to put on a decent fight, but he's never really shown that, star potential. So it's not like they're giving, Ludovic an easy fight, but it's not like they're really challenging him much at this point either. They're kind of like the old meme. They're poking him with a stick, like, come on, do something. And he just fucking isn't. So I think at this point, if he gets fucking dog walked by Rebecki, he's probably done. He's probably done in the UFC at this point. So it's interesting just to see how that one's going to play out. I agree completely with TJ. I have nothing against Ikram Aliskerov. I still think he's got a lot of fucking potential. I don't know if he's got belt potential, but he's still got a lot of potential. But I will wave the fucking Iron Turtle flag until that motherfucker retires and stops fighting, period. I don't give a fuck who he's fighting. I don't give a fuck where he's fighting. I don't give a fuck what the odds are. If the Iron Turtle is climbing in the cage, I am waving the fucking Jun-Young Park flag. Like, I will always root for that motherfucker. He is genuinely, in my opinion, probably one of the best human beings, not just fighters, but human beings ever to sign to the fucking UFC roster. Period. End of sentence. That dude's awesome. So I'm stoked to see how that fight plays out. I'm a sick fuck, and I don't deny that. I'm a very petty man, and I have a very black heart, and I enjoy bad things happening to people. It makes me giggle. I don't deny that. I don't hide from it, but that's the only reason why I give a fly's ass crack worth of attention span to Nasrat Haqparast versus Quinlan Skillet at this point. Quinlan came in with a lot of hype. There might still be some potential there, but he absolutely got fucking humbled. If he can come back from that, it'll be very interesting to see. And then I may pay attention again. But at this point, Nasrat Haqparast is the reason that we don't get super excited about big names coming into the UFC, because that dude got signed with one of the biggest fucking hype trains that I can remember outside of maybe Paddy Pimblett. And he showed up, had a couple of, interesting fucking early on fights, and then he cowboy Cerrone'd on us. Like, as soon as he got a big opportunity against legitimate talent, he froze the fuck up and got his ass handed to him. And then when he got put back against a nobody that didn't really matter, he started to look like he might know what he was doing again. And then they gave him a chance at some, tougher talent, and he cowboy Cerrone'd again and got his ass handed to him. And it's like, at this point, like, I understand that not everybody is going to be top level, but we also realistically don't need 1,700 people on the fucking UFC roster either. There's plenty of room for people who are of that caliber fighter to go to other organizations that are made up of fighters of that caliber and have plenty of great fucking matches and potentially look great competing against, people of their skill level. Whereas keeping them around for bodies in the UFC doesn't make fucking sense at this point in a day and age where literally every fucking week you get 3 to 5, and some weeks 6 brand new fucking 12 and 12 signees from the Contender Series who are going to get fights, 3 a year at the very minimum. The stocks are more than replenished at this point. We don't need cans. We don't need roster fillers at this point. It's time to start trimming some serious fucking fat. And I'm genuinely hoping in 2026, when we move to the Paramount Network, that the UFC starts to do that. That being said, the main card itself is pretty fucking lean. It is pretty goddamn nice. I wouldn't say it's the best pay-per-view of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a damn good pay-per-view main card, top to bottom here. Alexander Rakic at one point was said to be the next dude to take over the light heavyweight division. And then a series of crazy what the fuck moments kind of derailed that. And he was never really able to fully recapture that steam that he had before the injury. The division's getting a little more clear. The murky water has started to settle a little bit. The picture at light heavyweight and heavyweight is suddenly becoming very fucking clear in both cases here. Realistically, Mirzakhanov might not be on the title picture radar, but he's another dude in the light heavyweight division with an undefeated record. And those guys generally don't come around too often. So they're generally there for a reason. At this point, it's kind of shit or get off the pot in terms of the rankings, I would say, for Rakic. If he can't get past Mirzakhanov at this point, his title aspirations are done. Not to say that this will put Mirzakhanov into a title picture getting past him, but this would basically eliminate Rakic's ability to get back into the title picture. On the other side of that coin, though, if he comes out here, steals that donut from Mirzakhanov and shows a glimpse of that old Alexander Rakic that got him into the title picture so fucking quickly, not only could this be a very entertaining fight, this could absolutely start to put some definitive order in the top of the rankings of the 205 division, which is what we need because the year is getting ready to end and it's time for almost all of the belts to be rotated around and got back into circulation here so we can start 2026 with a clear line of sight as to who's got what, who's next up, and who's in line. This fight could potentially do that for us. Not so much in the next fight, though. It is an interesting matchup style-wise. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. Style-wise, this is very interesting. In reality, though, I don't think this is going to be nearly as exciting as everyone hopes it's going to be. I do partially agree with what TJ said. I do think that Jailton Almeida is not what he claimed to be with an asterisk at heavyweight. If you remember, when he first got signed, Jailton Almeida took the vast majority of his first few fights in the UFC at 205 pounds because he walks around at like 212. So cutting that 7 fucking pounds wasn't anything for him. And it got him a bunch of fights right in a row. And he looked pretty goddamn good at 205. He just happened to run into a couple of dudes who are genuine heavyweights and are still cutting down to 205, and it didn't go well for him, understandably. The problem is he is the definition of a tweener for the big guys. He's not really big enough to cut enough mass to be imposing at 205, but on the other side of the coin, because there's a fucking ocean between light heavyweight and heavyweight, he's also not really big enough to compete with the guys who some of them have to genuinely cut to get to 265 at the heavyweight limit. When you walk around at 212 and some of these dudes are walking around at 312 and cutting to 265, you're still fucked when you climb in the cage, even though you're technically in the same fucking weight class. Jailton Almeida is kind of stuck in that fucking middle ground. Like Dustin Poirier was the perfect example of a tweener down at lightweight. He walked around at like 172 pounds and he could cut down to 155. It was just a little rough because he didn't have a lot of fat on him to begin with. He wasn't really big enough to fight at 170 because, again, he didn't really have a whole lot of mass to work with to begin with. This is Jailton Almeida up at heavyweight and light heavyweight. I'm telling you right now, if they would just introduce something in the middle there, Jailton would take that fucking division over. I don't think he's going to be able to do much at heavyweight, and I don't think Volkov is headed for the belt anytime soon. He's a perennial top 5 guy. He's fairly well-rounded, but I don't think he's headed for the belt anytime soon. But I think Jailton Almeida is going to find out against Volkov this weekend that it's probably in his best interest to go back and play in the light heavyweight division, because heavyweight, like I mentioned a little bit ago, is starting to get that murky water cleared out. And that picture is getting very clear and things are starting to move, as demonstrated by the main event of this fucking card. So this fight does kind of matter, but it doesn't matter a whole lot. It does still matter, though, and there's potential for surprise. There always is, but man, I would be more surprised if Volkov didn't pull this one off than I would be if Jailton actually got it. Put it that way. Unpopular opinion. I give 0 shits. 0 about the People's Co-Main event here. I don't give a fuck about Umar. I don't give a fuck about Mario Batista. Mario Batista is the Magomed Ankalaev of the bantamweight division. He is a decision machine who will wet blanket whatever he needs to when he needs to, as long as he gets that W, even if it comes by decision, which most of his fucking wins have. Umar Nurmagomedov is one of the closest things we have in the UFC right now to a Nepo baby. He literally got all of the fame he has right now because of his last name. Not because of anything he's done, but because of his last name and who he is related to. We saw what happened when they tried to give him his undeserved title shot. He got his ass handed to him, just like everyone else who has signed up for that Marab ticket has gotten. Now, all of a sudden, because we're going back to the Middle East, Umar gets in front of that, super fucking supportive media crew out there and says that if he wins this fight, when he wins this fight on Saturday, he gets his rematch against Marab, because he, and like most people, assume Marab is going to win that fight against Jan. I don't think he deserves that. I don't give a fuck if he gives us a 7-second Conor McGregor-esque knockout of Mario Batista and walks out of that ring doing the Billy fucking strut. I don't think he fucking deserves a title shot. I don't give a shit. He doesn't fucking deserve it. The problem is that on the other side of that fucking coin, after Dana said the winner will get a fucking title shot, is Mario Batista, the guy who has literally hugged and wrestle-fucked his way to notoriety by being one of the most uninteresting guys in a division full of interesting fucking guys. Bantamweight is fucking exciting in almost every fucking matchup they have put together, from ranked to unfucking ranked, all goddamn year. Go back and look at any fucking UFC card in 2025. If there's a bantamweight fight on that fucking card, the fight was fucking good. Might not have been the best fight on the card, but the fight was fucking good. Bantamweight is popping right now. And then you've got the decision machine, the wet blanket dude who helped get Jose out of fucking combat sports again. So fuck him extra for that. Now you're going to give the bantamweight Big Onk a title shot if he fucking wet blankets and Big Onks Umar? It hurts my head. It hurts my fucking brain to have to say these words. One way or another, by Saturday evening, either Mackenzie Dern or Verna Yonderova will be the champion of the women's 115-pound division in the UFC. I feel like I'm in scanners and my head's just going to go like, what the fuck are we doing, man? What the fuck are we really doing? Like, when even people inside of the UFC are openly criticizing how laughably fucking ridiculous this is, not only as a fight to begin with, but as a title fight, especially as a title fight, given what else is going on right now. Whaley literally put this belt down for just a second to try and go get a second fucking belt and then come back and reclaim it and be a 2-division champion, since that's the UFC's new favorite stipulation. You have to put your belt down to go up to the next fucking division. So she's doing that. She's gonna come back and get this motherfucker, win, lose, or draw. That's Whaley's fucking belt right now. Somebody else is just gonna hold it for a little while. So the fact that they're making this a title fight is fucking ridiculous. The fact that these two are the ones that are fighting for the quote-unquote vacant belt is fucking dumb. That being said, this main event, excuse me, we said it earlier, it's almost 2 years in the making. Now, I will admit, Cyril Gane absolutely is the male version of Holly Holm in this situation. He wins a fight, they give him a title shot. He loses a fight, they give him a title shot. He goes to a boring fucking decision, they'll give him a title shot. He gets a draw, they'll give him a fucking title shot. Like, he cannot lose here. Like, he's the reason, literally, he is the reason that we had to deal with the 3.5-year-long John Jones situation. Because Cyril Gane shit the bed like no geriatric you could ever dream up in the most laughable cartoon. And then we had that to deal with. But luckily, despite 3 fucking interim title defenses, we now have the undisputed heavyweight champion, Tommy Aspinall, defending his rightful belt against perennial contender Cyril Gane. I said it earlier. I stand by my statement. To his credit, when Cyril Gane got to the UFC, he was genuinely light years faster and more agile than almost the entire heavyweight roster, period. The problem was he wasn't as much faster as he and everyone else seemed to think he was, because then we got Tommy Aspinall coming into picture to show us what actual crazy fucking speed and agility at heavyweight really looks like. And I will say, I was not the most excited when they announced that Cyril Gane was going to be Tom Aspinall's first title defense. But at the same time, I understand it, because if we really are going to begin the Tom Aspinall era at heavyweight, we have to get rid of all of the remnants of the brief asterisk John Jones era at heavyweight. And the last straw that remains is the reason that we had that fucking era to begin with in Cyril Gane. Not that he's earned it, but he is the last loose end to be wrapped up from the John Jones bullshit. And as far as that is concerned, that I understand, and that I am okay with giving Cyril Gane this opportunity, because I wholeheartedly believe, like everyone has kind of assumed, if Tom Aspinall beats Cyril Gane here, there is virtually nothing that Cyril Gane will be able to do in his career to even be in the same sentence as the word title ever again. That ship is beyond fucking sailed, and they're gonna Viking funeral shoot a fucking flaming arrow at that bitch as soon as it gets off the shore. So Tom Aspinall understands that. He understands that this is not necessarily a cakewalk, but that this is a very important fight, not just for him, but for the division and for the organization. And he's prepared to shoulder the responsibility, like he has for the last 2.5 years, 3 years of this John Jones bullshit. So it might not be the fight that everyone wanted to see, but this is essentially the sage smudging of the UFC heavyweight division. We are getting rid of the last of the bad juju and all of the fucking ghosts that have held us hostage for the last 3 fucking years, and we are getting a new beginning. And God damn it, I don't care which way it shakes out, honestly, because we are getting a new beginning. So, that being said, we do have one particular segment in the show that does require its own individual disclaimer. So, if you will, me. Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does let you go onto their site and create a free account so you can make fantasy style MMA picks like we do here on the show. We even made a group on there because they let you do that too. All one word, I'm No Bookie or Group 965. However you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcomed and encouraged. Make yourself an account, join the group, and then let us know who you are, and we will hold your picks accountable with our picks in a segment that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right. I'm going to hop right into this, but before I hop into it, I want to say, because we didn't talk about it, and I think maybe this is something I should have brought up during the news segment because it was big. It was fucking huge. The boogeyman is not scary. By the boogeyman, I mean Renner de Ritter. Quits on the fucking stool. His team asked him, "Are you going to continue?" He said, "No, I'm not going to continue." He bitched out. To be fair, I thought he had it in the bag after the first round. I was like, oh, that's it. Fucking Allen. Fucking hats off, chef's kiss. Out fucking ground gamed the ground game specialist. And we learned Renner de Ritter has no fucking gas tank. It's a get done quick or I'm getting done and I'm quitting. So, for those of you who aren't in the know, you can go back watch that from last week because, Brendan Allen, he was the truth about what fucking is going on with Renner de Ritter. Not all that great. We just learned a couple of things. So, I think a lot of people who may have lost to him in the past have a reasonable shot of whipping his fucking ass now. Anyhow, moving on from that, we're going to talk about the de Ritter Allen card from last week. That card went 6 ways from Sunday, which was great for myself because I picked some 6 ways from Sunday shit because I was like, this card is kind of fuckery. So it worked out in my favor. I get the old attaboy pat on the back, 8 of 13 correct, which to be honest, not that great, just north of 500. But if you go and look at everybody else's picks across the entirety of Tapology, I was in like top 500 if I remember correctly, or somewhere in that neighborhood. They were terrible. Now, there was definitely a firefight for who was going to shit the bed the worst. But they decided they were going to play double dutch with each other's dicks. And that honor goes out to the meter and fucking Vinny. With the exact same amount of picks correct, exact same amount of picks, 5 of 13, 265. So, this brings in to a little tinfoil hat theory we have here. I don't know if you guys remember 5, 6, 7 episodes back here. I was talking about how I think Christian and Vinny have been on some shit, cheating off of homework and whatnot. I think I figured out the culprit. I think it's got to be Vinny. He'll pick somebody's picks. It just so happened he picked the wrong person's picks this week, and so he got to play double dutch with the dick, and they were both stomping on the rope.
For the record, there is an option on Tapology when you put your picks in to keep your picks hidden until the event starts. And I always choose that just because I've had my picks stolen before. So I know he wasn't copying off me, but he was definitely copying off somebody's homework who might have been trying to copy off of me.
Well, look, just because you hit it on Tapology doesn't mean you didn't slide a note under the fucking table. I've been in school. I know how that shit works. And we have cell phones now, so you can easily just, hey, look at these pics. Snap, send, read, repeat, both fail. F for cheating. Anyhow, no. The big takeaway of all of this is not about who had better picks this week. It's how much of a fucking bum Renner de Ritter is to quit on the stool. Not even go out there, finish the last 5 minutes, and get his ass whooped as a man. Look, I am a big proponent of this sport. I love this sport to death. I understand throwing in the towel when your corner realizes you're getting fucked up too bad and you're too dumb to quit. A la like a Brian Ortega situation where he was too dumb to quit. Corner throws in a towel to save him. Attaboy. Those ones I understand. But you quitting on a stool, maybe this sport ain't for you. I don't care how good you are. If you quit on the stool, this sport is not for you, nor is the UFC. In fact, there should be a clause in the UFC that says if you quit on the stool, you will immediately be cut. This will be your last paycheck. Goodbye. We don't want quitters in the UFC. There's a reason why the UFC has been the premier MMA organization for well north of a decade. But I'll leave you on that note. So we're going to switch over to something a little more positive, which is talking about odds for this week's pay-per-view.
Real quick, before you jump into the odds, one last thing about the Tapology Grand Prix. This is the final event of the Fall Grand Prix. So if you are interested in getting into one of these tournaments with us, there will be another one getting set up in the next couple of weeks. So you need to pay attention. For those of you who are doing the audio only, you get these a week after they have aired live. So you need to pay extra close attention. But I just wanted to take a second to mention here that we are coming into the last event of this little mini tournament here, and the entirety of our field is separated by just 10 correct picks.
That reminds me, I did not give everybody the current leaderboards for the Fall Fuckery Grand Prix. Right now, Donna is taking the house right now at 3,600. Christian not far behind at 3,500. Myself not far behind at 3,425. So between first and third place, there's only a 175-point difference. What's crazy of that is from top to bottom, like you said earlier, there's only 10 picks in difference. Meter sitting at 3,180. Christian should be at 3,180 after your guys' showing this weekend, but he did miss a pick somewhere along the lines. He's sitting at 3,115. And old River Tour himself in the tugboat taking up the rear. 2905. He is way off the lead, man. He's been struggling for like quite some time. I think I need to go have an intervention. It's been a while since I've seen him. Might be doing that over the course of probably next weekend after fucking Halloween is over. But, you know, that is what it is. So there you are. Like you said, this is the last week. Come join. We know you like free shit. Tapology is free. If you didn't like free shit and you only like paid shit, you'd be part of the Patreon, which, by the way, information for that is right down here below. If not, I'm NoBookie Group 965. Make an account. It's free, you cheap sons of bitches. Go do the right thing. Join us. Tell us who you are if you want us to hold you accountable. If you don't, make sure you change your username to where we don't recognize it, because I'll hold you fucking accountable if I know who the fuck you are. If you want to be Heidi, go ahead and be Heidi. The only Heidi that is good at changing their skin is Heidi Klum, and that's only for Halloween. And if you don't get that reference, maybe you should pay more attention fucking some really great costumes for Halloween. That's all I'm saying. Now, as we were, back over to the fucking odds end of the house here. we're going to be looking via fucking BetMGM because they're back on the pony for these last couple of months, and I'm fucking happy to see it. There are quite a few fights on this card that have some pretty wide odds. There are quite a few that are coin flips as well. But only one of them gets the top dog of being the widest odds. So I'm just going to start from bottom to top, run you up for the ones that are noteworthy if you are a betting person. I'm not going to give you the coin flips. The coin flips you can do by just what I don't cover. The one fight I said to immediately throw in the trash, the opener on the card. Jacqueline Amorim Mizuki Inui. I'm probably martyring that name because I don't speak Japanese, but that's all right. We've got Mizuki coming in as a plus 340 underdog, and Jacqueline a minus 450 favorite. Now, the next one, I think fucking somebody at BetMGM was being a little lazy. That's next is going to be Azat Maximum and Mitch Raposo. Raposo coming in as a plus 340 underdog, and Azat coming in as a minus 450 favorite. Weird that those are the exact same fucking odds. Somebody was a little lazy over there in the house. That's all I'm saying. Now, one of my favorite guys. Not because he's great, but just because of the person he is. Chris Barnett. And Hamdi Abdullah Webb, or I'm probably martyring that too, because I don't speak Egyptian. Hamdi coming in as a minus 500 favorite over a plus 375 in Chris Barnett. I can understand that one purely because of the time off that Chris Barnett has had, and we know the mental struggles he had before his last fucking fight. So we'll just leave that dog where it lays and take it with a grain of salt, because Chris Barnett's he's fucking explosive for a guy you wouldn't think he's going to be explosive. Then next one here, Louis Sutherland and Walter Walker. One dude who I don't think should be in the UFC, but here we fucking are. Sutherland coming in as a short notice replacement, a plus 310 underdog. Walker coming in as a minus 400 favorite, to nobody's surprise in this case. That tends to happen a lot when you have those semi last minute replacement types of things. Now, you're pretty much coin flippy up until you get to the Iron Turtle and Ikram Alexskarov, and even that one's pretty close to coin flippy, but I wanted to mention it anyways. They've got the Iron Turtle coming in as a plus 185 underdog. Ikram Alexskarov a minus 225, which does make sense because he is in the rankings, whereas the Iron Turtle is not, but the Iron Turtle has had some great outings as of late, so take that with a grain of salt. Like I said, it's pretty close to coin flippy. It's there. Got a bunch more coin flippers. And now, the biggest and widest odds on the card go to the, air quotes for you guys can't see this, People's Co-Main Event. Mario Batista and Umar Nurmagomedov. They've got Umar sitting as a minus 650 favorite over a plus 475 underdog in Mario Batista. To be honest, I think those odds are a little bit crazy. I mean, we did see how Umar got dog walked by the fucking current champion, so he's definitely not unbeatable. And to be honest, I'm here for it. And like I said earlier, I have nothing against Habib. The dude did great things in the UFC, but I want to watch his team fail. Look, I'm not voting for somebody's demise, but the amount of hype surrounding them is fucking ridiculous. Maybe because I just don't like wet blankets. That could be it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a great grappler, but I enjoy a great grappler who is exciting. Thus, being the fan of the fucking machine. Rob is an exciting grappler. He never stops fucking working. A lot of these guys, they'll just get there and wet blanket people and they're like, go fuck up a rope somewhere. But anyhow, that's the widest odds on the card. Does go to that People's Co-Main Event. Air quotes for those of you who are just listening, because we understand we have faces. You don't have to watch us. Now, the ones that we will go over, whether we like to or not, and that's the co-main and the main, because I cover them every time. The co-main, Mackenzie Dern and Verna Jandaroba. Or Jandaroba, yeah, whatever the fuck it is. Verna coming in as a plus 125 underdog. Mackenzie a minus 150. Like I said earlier, this fight really only goes two ways. If it stays on the feet, Verna wins the title. If it goes to the ground, Mackenzie wins the title. So, understandably, they have it pretty close to a coin flip, knowing that neither one of those broads would ever have taken the title from Riley had she not fucking decided to go up and go make that super fight, which I'm not mad at her. She was cleaning the fucking division out. So at that point, go to fucking pastures where you have a little more drive to do something else. Who knows? We might get another one of the greatest women's fights in history because of that. Shout out to fucking old Spock herself. You don't get that reference? Go back and watch fights. I'm just saying. Somebody was definitely speaking Klingon at the end of the day. Now, for our main event. Siragan, Tom Aspinall. This one, not surprising to me. However, a little less wide than I thought it would have been. Tommy Aspinall, BetMGM has coming in at a minus 375 favorite. Over Siragan as a plus 290 underdog. To be honest, I think that would have been a little wider considering how bad Siragan got dog walked by a duck. But, the fuck do I know? I'm just some random guy off the street. And one other thing to mention here, I'm pretty sure, what was it, in episode 3 or 4 of fucking the UFC's embedded series, we caught some information here. Cyril Gahn did say he wants to take him into deep waters. Tommy Aspinall pulled out one hell of a fact. Everyone who's wanted to take him into deep waters gets knocked out inside of 2 minutes. I'm just saying. Hey, is there a little foreshadowing here? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see one hell of a speed difference. Look, I like Cyril Gahn. I'll be honest. The dude's genuinely a nice person. He's a great MMA fighter. Tom Aspinall's on a different fucking level. That dude is fast. He's got a great ground game. It's scary, the difference. I mean, yeah, Cyril Gahn beat up on one of my other favorite heavyweights, but who is also just a knockout artist. If you don't know who one of my other favorite heavyweights is, go look at the profile picture and fucking goddamn Tapology. You'll understand. I'll just put it this way. There may or may not be shootings involved. Anyhow, that's what we got for odds this week. And we'll see how everybody does coming in to the wire here for the Fall Grand Prix. If you are a betting person, I'm not telling you to bet or which way to bet. If you're going to bet, do it responsibly. I'm not going to give you the whole gambling addicts thing because people who are gambling addicts don't know that they're fucking addicts. That's the problem. It's not like a drug where you can go, oh yeah, I'm really fucked up now. I mean, you'll know you're a gambling addict when you lose your house. So what I'm telling you to do is if you're going to bet wisely. Don't bet your fucking house on any fight. Any fight. I don't care how lopsided it looks. It could be Wiley Zhang versus Tom Aspinall. Do not bet on that fight with the entirety of your fucking house. Yeah, the odds are probably pretty stacked in Tom's favor in that one, but MMA is fucking weird. Shit happens. Do the right thing, bet responsibly, know your odds. There are quite a few fights this week that, to be fair, you could win some good money on. Because I think some of those odds are a little wider than they should be, especially considering the caliber of fighters that they're on. So take that all with a grain of salt. Know that where you look up your odds may vary. It may vary if it's your local casino where you're placing your bets. It may vary if you're on FanDuel or whatever one of those other fucking platforms is. And if you're in the UK, know that your odds are going to vary differently there too, because UK odds makers are completely different than the US odds makers. So do yourself a favor. If you're going to bet, do it responsibly. If you win a fuck ton of money, feel free to donate some to the I'm No Joke team. You know, I'd love to catch a paycheck. I mean, they've only been doing this for fucking 7, 8 years now. You know, I haven't got paid yet. TikTok, motherfucker. TikTok. It's time. Line my pockets. I got more Halloween shit I want to buy. Please donate below.
Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciated. Yeah, if you are interested in getting in on the next round of Tapology tournament, we generally have 4 of them a year. This is our last event for the fall tournament, and then shortly we will be starting our final event of the year, the Winter Grand Prix. So if you are interested in getting in on that, make sure you have a Tapology account and you have messaged one of us somewhere to let us know who the fuck you are, and we will make sure that you get an invite when that comes out. That being said, Tapology is free. Watching us is free. Listening to us is free. Pretty much every Thursday that there are fights to talk about for that weekend, you can catch us live, first and foremost, over on youtube.com/at I'm No Joe. Also, live dual streamed to twitch.tv/I'm No Joe. If you miss us live, that's all right. We leave the replays up. You can go back and watch them as long as either platform holds them. If you missed us live on purpose, I understand. We also own mirrors. And for that reason, the week after we go live, the all audio version of the podcast gets put up on anchor.fm/I'm No Joe. And from there, you can get it through your audio consumption platform of choice, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever. It's all there. It's all up for free to consume as well. If you really like what we get up to around here, please make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are turned on wherever you're picking this up. That way you don't miss an episode. If you really, really like what we get up to around here, patreon.com/I'm No Joe is the best way to show your support. For as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving, you help us do what we do around here. In exchange, as a thank you for that, first and foremost, we put your name at the end of every broadcast on the channel to let everyone know how fucking awesome you are for supporting us. But more than that, you get unrestricted access at any pledge level to the I'm No Joe behind the scenes, unaired and unairable content. All of the shit that got us kicked off OnlyFans is all on the Patreon for all the patrons to see, as well as new Patreon exclusive content that is already up. There is more going up. There is more being shot. It is actively filling up over there. Now there are things that only people who help us out get to take advantage of and get to enjoy. So if you would like to be in the Cool Kids Club like that, get your dollar ready. Click the link down below, whether you're listening or watching. Either way, we appreciate it. It helps us do what we do. The opposite side of that coin, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you doing this deep into a podcast that you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, we wrap things up here around here at the end of Thursday night. That is not the end of the fun, because tomorrow and pretty much every Friday morning, the kid and his other half drop their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over there on Spreaker.com/Slow Bake and Contemplate, I believe. The links to that and their social media, as well as their very own channel over on the I'm No Joe Discord server, are all down in the description as well. That being said, some Wednesdays, you can also go over and find the Golf T Vapes YouTube channel hosting a Foggy Fairway event, whether we are talking shit, whether we are talking advocacy, whether we are making bathtub e-liquid, whether we are raising money to help kids get new bikes. That's the place to catch us all over there. Links for all of that is all down in the description as well. Sorry, excuse me, allergies.
Yeah. Just making sure you weren't powering through something there. We'll give you a little time, get your shit straight. It's all good. Now, in the meantime, there's a lot of downtime between things. A lot of downtime. So you need something to do to fill your time. What I would highly suggest doing is going down below. Linktree/the meter does many things. Linktree/I'm No Joe will take you to each and every one of the many things that the meter does do, and fill those time slots with things that are interesting to you, whether it is old episodes of the I'm No Joe, or some of his other content that is over on that secondary channel. Just saying, it's worth your time. There's always new stuff coming out, stuff to be on the watch for. Not to mention Friday, tomorrow. Are you guys going to do that tomorrow or Saturday morning? Saturday morning? Ooh, look at you big boys putting on your big boy pants and getting up early. They're going to have a get up early. They're going to do a little session before the fights start at 9 a.m. Or are you going to wait until just before the main card? Oh, you guys are going all out. Look at you. I'm so proud of you guys being day walkers. Way to go. Hercules. No, Saturday morning, bright and early, come back over here. There's going to be some early talks about fights Saturday. It's not quite a fight companion, but it's fucking close. No. We'll check out those links below. Come back here on Saturday morning. You know where they'll be. Me, I will probably be out fucking cleaning the lawn up before fight Saturday morning. So I won't get a chance to be here. But it'll be worth your time.
Thanks, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah, if you are into things of that nature, you are definitely going to want to check out the other channel links in the description. If you are just listening and you can't see that, I apologize. Just click the other link anyway. You'll like it. We just dropped some very, very, and I mean very rare and exclusive content over there yesterday. I am burning the candle at both ends because I'm going to another one of those events tomorrow night until midnight and then turning the fuck around at 7 a.m. to be right here for all you crazy motherfuckers for the pregame show with this. Wait, he's over there. This guy over here. Again, bright and fucking early Saturday morning to get you guys excited for everything 321. Any new updates, any relevant fight information, all that fun bullshit. We will be here bright and fucking early, begrudgingly with a large cup of hot coffee at 7 a.m. Central Time Saturday morning for the pregame show. That feller and I. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So if you enjoyed what we get up to around here, please make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss any of that fun shit. But that is all we have got for this particular episode. So keep your eyes peeled here Saturday for the pregame show. If you can't catch the fight yourself, don't fret as well. Click on that shorts tab here on the I'm No Joe YouTube channel, because anytime there is a finish worth talking about, at the very least, I'll give you a little picture and tell you about what happened. Depending on how litigious the company that the fight happens for, I might even be able to show you a little video of that finish. So if you can't catch it all, I still got you fucking covered there. I'm No Joe is your source for all things punchy kicky, but that is what we've got for this particular episode. Thank you all for tuning in once again. And remember, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.